once, home is just a word, a fairy tale I'd heard that always kept me searching within these walls. Home is now the place of refuge and escape. Serenity surrounds me. A miracle is happening to me, and finally learning what a home can be. Within these walls, I have learned to fly, to take charge of my life, and find the peace inside me. Within these walls, we love and work and play, finding joy along the way. And now I want to stay within these walls. Within these walls, my thoughts would pull me down. I wouldn't look around to see that love surrounds me. Within these walls, friends now gather here, and laughter fills the air.
Uh-oh. I did something wrong. Anyway, I guess that's enough music for now. I was trying to plug in the charger so it wouldn't die on me. And it doesn't seem to be charging, which is not a fun thing. I guess my charger is just on its last leg. Let's see if it'll charge this way. You know, it's just been one of those days, y'all. One of those days. Monday, I guess. I love Mondays. But my email quit working. They had problems with the printer at the office. And then I couldn't get my videos to download. And then finally it started working. So I am trying to get all the little gremlins out of the way. Little gremlins. Anyway, it's tea time, y'all. Get on in here. Come on in. I don't know where everybody is, but they're someplace. Let me see if I can turn the chat on. Now I can see the chat. I like that because I can actually read it. When I couldn't read it before on the phone, it was pretty much too little. Too little. So Mondays are difficult days to get back in the swing of things. Weekends kind of mess up our routine sometimes. And that's, that's no fun. That's just no fun. But getting back into everything, I've accomplished a lot today. I've gotten laundry done. I have put up my squash. I got 2 big bags of squash put away, pre-cooked, ready to go. I'm happy with it. I even had some for lunch. And I'm getting things done. But 3 o'clock rolls around and it's time to take a break because we all deserve a break. We're worthy to take a break and take a load off our feet and sit down with a cup of something. I don't have anything right now. Just a cup of tea, cup of water even, a cup of iced tea, a cup of lemonade, cup of lemon fizz water, which I had some last night. It was really good. But just to take a break and not feel guilty about it because we should not feel guilty. And maybe watch some videos on YouTube. You're watching me. I just got through watching part of Homestead Heart. She's out in her garden on loofah lane. And loofah lane is her name for her loofah gourds that I don't know what she does with them. I don't know what anybody does with them. I mean, I've had some loofahs that I like for exfoliating, but you only need one and they last a long time. So I don't know if she sells them at the farmer's market or what's going on, but she likes to grow them. and they grow 12 feet tall up a big fence that's the border of her garden. But I got to laughing. I got to laughing at all of her animals. She has cats and dogs and turkeys that think she is the queen mother. I'm telling you, her turkeys absolutely love her. She has chickens and roosters, and all of a sudden they all started squawking at the same time. I got so tickled, and she just had to stop and let them talk. And it was just the funniest thing ever, just to be out in her garden early of a morning. That's when my grandmother would go out in her garden. I guess I need to put my microphone on. But it was just pleasant to go along with her as she does her morning routine out in her garden, getting out there before it gets real hot and getting things done. And she had a compost bin where she put the chicken droppings in a certain area. And last year she had a bunch of tomatoes that didn't do well, and she pulled them up and threw the rotten ones in with the chickens, and they ate them. Well, the seeds went right through them. She got a whole bunch of volunteers, volunteer tomato plants. She doesn't know what kind they are, but she does her best to grow heirloom seeds. So it's just fun to watch somebody garden and have a good time growing your own groceries. She says that. I don't know if she got it from somebody else, but she's growing her own groceries, which is wonderful. When you can grow your own groceries, you teach kids where the groceries come from. I know of one little girl one time, she was asked where apples came from, and she says in the back of the produce department. It's so sad. It's so sad when kids can grow up and know where everything comes from. Yeah, watch the process. Watch the process. Anyway, folks, y'all take a break. What's for dinner at your house? I think we're having Mexican. I've been craving Mexican, and Mexican wasn't open last night, and neither was barbecue, and nothing. Just finally, we ended up at Chinese, and that's good. But I don't. We had eaten Japanese the day before, so get on in here. I'm looking at some of your. Somebody's having a ribeye. Somebody's having pizza. That's all good. Tuna melts with tomato soup. I've never had a tuna melt. I don't really know what that is. Making tacos. I'm coming to your house, Sheila. Barbecued chicken. I had that last Sunday. Well, Robert got our. This is funny. Robert was concerned that we hadn't gotten a bill from the person who came, the company that came to fix our our air conditioner a couple of weeks ago. So he calls them this morning, and when he got the mail today, there was the bill. So he had beat them to it. It had to go to South Carolina and back up again. It's just crazy when we're only 3 miles from their place. Just crazy. But we finally got it. Chicken piccata, chicken thighs, barbecued spaghetti, salmon cakes, lasagna, and garlic bread. Now that sounds good, but I'm a carb addict. Um, Meatloaf, grilled cheese, and tuna melts. I said that one already. So, folks, y'all can continue to take a break. Put your feet up. Watch Pastor Derek Prince. I mean, Esther is just loving his sermons, and he teaches us. I wish I had known about him when I was a child. That would have been wonderful. He probably wasn't preaching then. Well, I think He might have been preaching then. I don't know when he passed away, but he is a fine pastor. He's got such a quiet demeanor about him, and his wife's with him, and it's just he has some beautiful lessons. And when we can fill our hearts with good stuff and not watch the news and not get all caught up in the things going on in the world, because God has this. God has it. He has it all. He's going to take care of everything. When we can, fill our hearts and listen to some good music, praise music. I mean, one of the best praise musicians that I've heard, and he's gone on now, is Kim Clement. He's just wonderful. His praise music. And I was listening to a pastor last night, and they were doing praise music, and it was like improv praise music. And I loved it. I loved it, sort of letting the Holy Spirit guide you. So it's interesting to listen. Now, I grew up in one church. I didn't go to different churches. I just grew up in one church and had never experienced anything until I was grown, when I went with Miss Louise to her church. And I had never been to a black church before. And it was powerful. It was powerful. And I love to listen to spirituals, and her church was just absolutely wonderful. So y'all, experience it. You can experience just about anything on YouTube if you look for it. If they let you find it. If they let you. Is my great niece Petra in here? I see a Petra. Is that my great niece? I don't know what they're commenting on. Let me see if I can find Petra. I don't know. Maybe it is. I have a great niece. Courtney's daughter is named Petra. And she has a daughter named Callista. And then Jessica has two daughters, Maddie and Beckett. And Beckett is doing fine. Seeing what all y'all have got for dinner. That's interesting. I love Michael W. Smith too. Yeah. Do I have a quick story? She says no. Petra says she's the Tasmanian one. Okay, that's fun. Do I have a quick story? Let's see. What can I tell a story about? I used to put up 200 jars of tomato juice. 200 jars. Quart jars of tomato juice. We would get home from vacation. It was a 2-week vacation, and Granddaddy would have setting on our carport five-gallon buckets of tomatoes. And I spent the next 3 days getting those tomatoes put up and ready, because I would make sauce out of them. You can cook it down and make sauce and canned sauce in pint jars and take up less room. There's just lots of things you can do with tomatoes. Just look at how many people are chicken piccata and lasagna, all kinds of things people are making out of tomatoes. And somebody had tomato soup. And it was just a staple in our home at the time. Now, Robert hates tomatoes. So I don't cook as many things with tomatoes because he thinks tomatoes taste bad, and it's a hereditary thing. All the men in his family thought tomatoes had this bitter taste. Well, come to find out, Patty's husband, Phil, thinks the same way. So it's a gene, and it's quite interesting. But I like the way tomatoes taste. So I would put up tomatoes, and I had one of those grinder things called that strainer that's on Amazon, and I've shared the link with you before. They changed the name of the company, but it's red and it's called a strainer, a Victorio strainer, but it's like Barton and something or Rose and something. I don't know what it is. But just look up for tomato strainer on Amazon and you'll see it. It's about $55. It's the best $55 I ever spent, except I think I paid about $100 for it. And I had a water bath canner, and I always put a little ascorbic acid in my tomato juice because if you grow hybrid tomatoes, they don't have as much acid. The heirloom tomatoes do. But I have used a ricer to make the tomatoes smooth, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And this you just put on the edge of a table, and you have a bowl that the juice goes in, and you have another bowl that catches the seeds and the skin, and you just crank and you got tomato juice. You got really good tomato juice. Anyway, folks, y'all be good, kind, and sweet. Stay caught up with the garden. If you miss a day, it's going to catch up to you, and you're going to feel a little pressure. Get the kids helping you. They can wash things. They can cut the ends off squashes and all kinds of things. Well, I'm going to work on the lighting right now. I'm going to work on the lighting. I have a really bright light right there, but I'm going to put some white curtains up here, and I'm going to get a light stand where I can bounce the light off the curtains and see if the lighting gets a little not as cold. I need to warm up the lighting a little bit. And I think it's just the lighting in the room right now. But I'm not going to get a ring thing and face it at me because I can't stand to see that in people's glasses. The way to do it is to bounce it off the walls to light up the room. I learned that from my husband. He's comes from a long line of photographers. Well, I'm not cold, but sometimes the picture is a little bit cold. And there might be some settings with the camera that I can warm things up to. But I'm going to play with that. I take about 15 minutes after every video and go through some settings. And that way I've got to wait for things to be able to download the video from YouTube. So I just spend it in here, taking some time and doing it. Well, y'all be good, kind, and sweet. Have a wonderful dinner with your family. Set the table special tonight. Put the good dishes out and let the children learn how to set the table. It's a great way to teach them manners. I love you all. Be good to yourself, kind to others, and let that joy that's in your heart show the world that you're a child of God and that you love Jesus. I'll see you in the morning. It's Plan and Play Day. Talk to you later.